Okay, let's see if I can do this. Alright. I don't know if I'm recording it in a different way, and so I might have a problem doing this right, but I'm going to try. I'm right now writing with paint, a kind of cockamamie version of Hebrews 11:1, and that's the first part of the verse, estinde. Okay, I'm not going to use the diacritical marks because I'll screw them up. Okay, the poem starts right here with our friend pistis. Alright, so that's pistis, and I'm using a capital T even though that's not quite right. That's supposed to be an S, not an eta. Okay. I screwed that up, so let's get rid of this so it doesn't look so much like an eta. Okay, that's supposed to be a pistis with an S. Okay, and then this is elpizomenon. It's really hard to use my mouse. Okay, I always want to put an F there. Elpizo, and then here's the M. Made badly. Menon. Oh, I can't do this really well with this mouse. You have no idea what I have to do to get this to happen. Okay, there's elpizomenon. And then here's hypostasis. I gotta use the mark there. You're not gonna know what it is. Okay. I forget if it's an O or a omega. I think it's an O. Hypostasis. Hyposta. And that's supposed to be this. They don't really make it like that in Greek, but I'm going to do that because I can't move this mouse. Hypostasis. And then here's pragmaton. This is harder to do than I thought. I shouldn't have done it this way. I should have just called it Bible Works. Okay, pragma. And again, you don't really make the A like that. It looks like that at the end, but that's not how you do the strokes. Pragmaton. And then here's elegos. I blew that so badly, I've got to do it again. Okay. It's really hard for me to move this mouse because it's sitting on a placemat, and I can't do anything about it. There's elegos, and then here's blepo. That's an L. See, blep, blep, bo, menon, M-E. Oops. You know what I mean by this, okay? Okay, blepomenon. Alright. Now I'm going to shift to another color. I want to show you how easy it is to know that all the scholars screwed up here. Okay, it's really embarrassing, but, you know, it's okay. We make mistakes. It's just not okay to cover them up. See these things here where the orange lines are? These are genitive plurals. Okay? And now we're doing the root here in purple. Okay, these are the roots of these are all participles. Okay, so here we have a genitive plural. Okay, genitive plural, genitive plural. Okay, and then the purple part is the root of a participle. A participle. A participle. Now, you know what a participle is, don't you? A participle is a verb that's got the capability of acting like a noun or an adjective or something else. But it's really a verb, okay? You got that? Okay, so what are these participles? Well, let's look at this one. Okay, I'm gonna put blue so that you know what I'm talking about here. This is elpizo. What does elpizo mean? It means to hope or to have confidence. It's got a very special cultural meaning that was defined by Plato in the Philebus. Okay, it means confident expectation, confidently expecting. And then elpis comes from that, which is the noun, the cognate noun. Now, this can't be too hard to understand. Things don't hope. People hope. You're beginning to understand what's wrong with the translation of this verse. This orange thingy here is what is doing the action of the participle. It's a plural. It's genitive. Okay, and I'll explain why it's genitive in a few minutes. Things don't do this action. Things don't have hope. Things don't hope. Things don't expect. Things are dead. They don't do anything but exist. I mean, you know, they're like your chair exists, but it's dead all at the same time. Your chair doesn't hope for anything. Things don't have hope. People have hope. So this orange, see, orange here. All right? That's done by what? By people. Okay? People are doing the action of the verb. That can't be too hard to understand. It's hope. The verb is hope. Elpizo means to hope. Okay, so who's doing the hoping? The people. Alright? So, it cannot be saying, faith is the evidence of things hoped for. No. Because this, hello, your first rule in Greek, you have to match person and number. This is a genitive plural. Plural, 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 plural. Okay, but pistis, right here, highlighting now with a little yellow, is what? Nominative singular. So pistis is not doing the action of elpizo either. This is a singular. This is not a plural. So it's not talking about you doing any believing. Your believing is referenced right here with the orange, right here. This is where you come in. This is where your action is. Because you're the one doing the hoping. Duh. So our friendly pistis right here, which is in the nominative singular, first rule of Greek grammar, hello. This is where all the scholars prove that they flunked kindergarten Greek. That's in the singular, the nominative singular. It is modified by a participle, which is really not a modification at all. It's something that's called the genitive absolute. It's a form of it, which is like split screen TV. That's being done by what? Others, people, many, ideally. You. This is where you are, where the big orange is. It's beginning to look like a little dragon mouth now. Okay, see, I can make it look like a dragon. See, now it looks like a dragon eating elpizomenon. But you see that? There's a gender and a number mismatch. Pistis is in the singular, hello, and it's a nominative. Elpizomenon is in the genitive plural, being now currently eaten by what looks like a little Godzilla. So it cannot possibly be translated as, oh, faith is the substance of things hoped for. That's dead wrong. Wrong. Now let's look at our second thing. See, this is hypostasis, okay? Highlighted in yellow. It's also in the singular. Okay? Singular. Oh, but pragmaton. Another little dragon being drawn, okay? Pragmaton is also in the genitive plural. See, and a pragma is a trial matter, and that's actually a noun rather than a participle. But it's got a verbal, force to it. A trial matter, a trial is something that happens. Okay? So this is genitive plural also. Well, then it can't refer to pistis, because pistis is in the singular, okay? It can't refer to pistis, and it can't refer to hypostasis as the actor of the verb, or the actor of the action, which here is really a noun, a genitive plural noun. Okay, but see this one here, this is nominative singular, just like pistis. You know what kind of Greek role that means right here? It's called apposition, 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 not opposition, apposition, which means that hypostasis and pistis are two sides of the same coin. Now that can't be you. That can't be your faith. It has to be the thing that you're believing in, because, hello, Christ is hypostasis, as hopefully you saw when you looked at my exegesis videos on Hebrews 11:1, where I show where else in the book of Hebrews he's using hypostasis, okay, to mean Christ. It's a nickname, and we even get the hypostatic union, okay? That's a doctrine, okay, by theologians. So where'd they get the term hypostatic union if they didn't know that hypostasis meant Christ? And by the way, the church fathers used the term to mean Christ too. Yeah, but who looks up that stuff when they want to just, make up whatever they want so they can make their faith important? See, this is in the genitive, this is in the nominative singular, honey, see? Nominative singular. And so it is in apposition to, meaning that pistis and hypostasis are referring to the same thing. Got that? And then we have our third one, alright? We got our third one, which is elegos. See? Elegos. Let's do it in a bigger one, okay? Elegos. That also is in the nominative singular. So guess what? Right here, ublepomenon, which means seeings, isn't referring to things. There is no word for things in this verse. Not one word in this verse is talking about things. Okay, and then these genitive plurals are not being done by things. They're being done by people. Things don't see. Blepo, 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 blepo. Here's the root verb right here. Blepo means to see, to look at, really to take in one glance. Okay, here we go. Blepo. I blepo you. You blepo me. We pass each other on the street and you blepo me. Okay? And then I blepo you and we say hi. Haven't blepoed you in a long time. How have you been? Got that? Things don't see. Things don't go on trial. People do. Things don't hope. People do. You see how badly mistranslated Hebrews 11:1 is? And it's just positively incredible, the incompetent commentary on this verse. And you'll notice that they're all missing the fact that this genitive plural is a genitive plural. So it can't be referring to something that isn't in the sentence. Okay? And it can't be referring to something that's a thing. It has to be referring to people. And it can't, therefore, be referring to pistis, because pistis isn't doing any hoping. Pistis, what's pistis? Pistis is the word that you're believing. The one doing the hoping is you. That's why it's in the plural, because there are many believers. But there's only one, get this, if you never hear anything else, there's only one pistis. That's Christ. There's only one word of God, His. Okay? That's why hypostasis, which is a moniker for Christ, as I already showed you in Hebrews 1 and Hebrews 3, and also Paul uses it that way. There's only one Christ, just like there's only one faithful one. Just like there's only one faith, the Christian faith, what you believe. There's only one Christ, one faith, Him. And where the many come in is these are people doing the hoping. People hoping. People, not things. So there's only one Christ, right here. Hypostasis. And He's the substance of the trial. He's the substance of your thought. He's the substance of the Bible. And that's why the word substance is used. He's the substance of God. That's what it says in Hebrews 1. He's the very exact hypostasis of God. The exact same character. Of course, character means stamp, and that's also in the same verse. The actual verse is character kai hypostasis. And then in Hebrews 3:14, it's hypostaseus. And this is the third time. Hebrews 11:1. You have to be deaf, dumb, and stupid, or very arrogant, or, carnal, to not notice that this is a nominative. 3 nominatives. See, here's a nominative. Elechos. What is Christ? Christ is evidence. Christ is faith. Christ is evidence. You see, this also, elechos, is in the nominative singular. And Christ is not seen either. And is not seen, what's also not seen is our faith in Him. What's also not seen is the doctrine. Because the doctrine is in our head. It can't be seen by the world. Even you're not even sure how far along you are doctrinally. That's something that's on trial, which is seen by the angels, and which is seen by the devil, and which is seen by God. But you don't really know how far along you are or how well you're doing. You don't usually find that out until the end, like Paul talks about in 1 Timothy 4, 7 and 8, verses 7 and 8. Okay? So it's real obvious, or it should be, just from the grammar alone. Hello. Elechos, elechos, elechos. Whoops, I did it with the wrong brush. Elechos, elechos. Evidence. Elechos. Let me put the leg down there. Almost looks like the Chinese character for person. This L here is the same as the Chinese character for person. Although I think in Chinese it's reversed. I forget now. It's been 30 years. Okay? Pistis. Okay, I can't, how am I going to do this? Let's do it this way. By the eraser, you can tell where my cursor is. Pistis. Singular, nominative, singular. First rule of Greek grammar, you got to match number to know what the sentence is saying. Okay, this is nominative singular, and then the next nominative singular is hypostasis, so they're like one unit. It's tic-tac-toe. Okay, hypostasis. Alright, and then the next unit that's in the nominative singular is elechos. So think of this whole thing as like, how do you want to call it? Christ, evidence, faith. It's all about Him, not about us. You got that? It's in the nominative singular, nominative singular, nominative singular, pistis, nominative singular, hypostasis, nominative singular. Now I'm going to use the eraser to make it thinner. Elechos. Okay? Evidence. First rule of Greek grammar. You got to match the number in the case. Those are all 3 nominative singulars. Alright, whereas here we have genitive plurals. Genitive plural. Genitive plural. There's my little monster. We're eating it up. See, this is where our believing comes into play. That's what el piso See, el piso, right here, I'm kind of playing with the blue now. That's what el piso means, to hope. So this is where we humans come in, right here, in the genitive participles. There's a genitive participle, el piso menon. That's us. That's where we are. Okay? And therefore, like Christ, we're on trial. Pragmaton. And that's a noun. That's a genitive plural noun. Okay? And then you have, and I'm going to play with the eraser to get rid of the extra blue. There you have ublepomeno. Our faith in Him is unseen. Okay, but our faith in Him isn't referenced by pistis, it's referenced by el pisomeno. See? Now I'm taking some of it away in case we're having a bad faith day. And so we don't quite have as much faith as we had, so we're not, the dragon is able to eat us more. Okay? See, we'll give it a little eye there. Ah! Okay? You see the difference? Now, I need to say one more thing. This little thing here, wait a minute, whoops. These little genitive plurals, okay? The genitive plural is being used, oh boy, I bet I can't spell that right. Sometimes I can't spell word doggone, okay? There's the genitive, oops, I'm having so much trouble moving this. Okay, a genitive plural when it is combined with I, me. Okay, and then it also uses a participle. It's called a genitive absolute. And in a way, this is a defective genitive absolute. Okay? It's very dramatic. It's used a lot by Luke, which makes me wonder if Luke didn't write the book of Hebrews. In the book of Acts, he uses it at least 14 times. And a genitive absolute is really like picture-in-picture, split-screen TV. Oops, I can't write that right. So what he's basically telling you here in Hebrews 11:1 is that this is like split-screen TV. On the ground, it looks one way, but from the air it looks different. And so he's saying, there's a screenshot, there's an air shot of what's going on, which is pretty, obvious from the text itself. Okay? That, here you are, as far as you're concerned, this evidence is unseen to you, but it's seen in heaven. Okay? Christ being on trial, Christ is also unseen because He's not on earth, but He's in heaven. Okay, and the word in you, which is what pistis is obviously referring to because it's in apposition to hypostasis and elegos. Okay, so these are all three in apposition to each other like tic-tac-toe. This part here is looking one way on earth, but looking another way in heaven. And of course that's why he next launches for the whole chapter into what was done on earth by Abel and Abraham and Moses and all the rest of them versus what it really looked like to heaven in the trial. Okay? So that's not something that you hear, that's too easy to find out about, especially on this verse, because most people don't notice that that's what this verse is a series of kind of defective genitive absolutes. The other thing they don't notice that I want to bring up is that epic poetry in Greek, I started to spell this in Greek. Oh, okay, epic poetry. Okay, you want to look this up in Google, you can find this out. Epic poetry in Greek typically uses between 11 and, depending on what kind of poetry that the author is making, and I haven't figured that out for this verse yet, but it's usually 10 to 15 syllables per line. And what you're seeing there with those these little light blue marks, these are each lines of the meter, separate lines. Okay, the estinda is outside the poem. And it's 10 to 15 syllables in Greek epic poetry. All right, and as I'm doing also in the 10 GGS series, this is Hebrew. The writer of the book of Hebrews is using Hebrew meter, and the Hebrew meter is not even known in Christendom. There's been a debate about it for about 300 years about whether it even has meter, but I've been proving out what that meter is in videos now for what I want to say, almost a year, at least 6 months. Okay, he is using Hebrew meter of sevens. Each of those each of these syllables, each of these clauses here, and let me use the erasure to help you see where my cursor is. Hypostasis pragmaton is 7 syllables. All right. Pistis erpizomenon is also 7 syllables. Oops, I'm wrecking up my dragon. Okay, that's also 7 syllables. Elogos ou blepomenon is also 7 syllables. The oo, you have to elide the oo here. You have to elide the oo. I'm not quite sure how you would do that. I'm not sure if they would swallow it at the end of elogos, or if they would swallow it with part of blepomenon. Okay, I'm not sure which one they'd rather do. But it's swallowed. Okay, klegos, they might say klegos ou blepomenon. I'm not sure how they would elide it, but they're eliding it somehow, because it's supposed to be 7 syllables. All right, 3 sevens in Hebrew meter means 21, and that means temple building. That's the way it's used in the Old Testament. I'm busy documenting that now with videos on Psalm 90, Daniel 9, Isaiah 53, and even Paul's use of it in Ephesians 1, 3 through 14 in my 10 GGS series and in my Psalm 90 series. Okay, the author of the book of Hebrews in Hebrews 11:1 here is also doing the same thing. But he's focusing on the 21s, and that's a prominent feature of Paul's meter. And in later videos, I'll show how Paul uses the 21s. But see, he's using it 3 times in this thing, because you've got distinta pistis elpizomenon, that's 7, hypostasis pragmaton, that's 14, elogos blepomenon, that's makes it 21. Okay, and then with estinda, it also has epic Greek meter meaning, but I haven't worked out what kind. So in Hebrew meter, it's 7 times 3, which equals 21, which is evocative of the temple building period that was long predicted ever since Moses in Psalm 90. He makes a big stink out of the 21s, and so did Isaiah, and so did Daniel 9, and so does Paul. So in short, he's saying that the temple gets built by means of this verse. Okay, so if it's getting built by means of this verse, then it's not your faith that's doing it. Okay, it's not your faith that's doing it. It's the word being built in you that's doing it. And yeah, in order for the word to be built in you, you have to be elpizo. You have to be believing it. But it's the word that's doing the work. You see the point? The word does the work. The word is here. Nominative, singular. And the word is Christ being on trial. Hypostasis, nominative, singular. Okay? And you're the one that ends up being on trial because it's a pragmaton occurring in you. You know, it's a pragma that's occurring in you. So you end up being the one that's doing the hoping right here. This is the verb for you. This is where you come in, you and me, all of us. Okay? And you're the one that ends up on trial because it's Christ in you, the hope of glory. That's in Colossians 1:25 through 27. And you're the one who's not seeing anything. It's happening in you. You can't see the results. But heaven can. So it's never things. The whole idea of the whole translation of that verse by all the translators is completely wrong. Faith is the evident assurance of things hoped for. No, it's not. Christ is the evidence of everything. And Christ is being built in you. That's the theme of 1 Corinthians 2 and 3. You know, where he says, and even in Galatians 4, you know, I'm sweating you out until Christ is built in you. Well, how is Christ going to be built in you? Through his word, through the word that he learned, through the word that he believed, through the word that he spoke, through the word that he gave to the apostles to write. Actually, the Holy Spirit gave it, but it's still his word, his thinking, because that's what Paul even says in 1 Corinthians 2:16. That's the evidence right here. It is evidence. You are not seeing it. They're not the seeings. The seeings. Okay? You're not seeing. There's no. Ooh, no. There's no ooh, being covered in blue now, colored in blue below it. Ooh, you're not seeing anything, but you're believing anyhow. Okay? This is where your verbs are. This is what you do. You aren't seeing. Ublapomenon. Pragmaton. You're the one that's on trial along with all the rest of us Christians. Okay? Why? Because it's about Christ. Hypostasis. Can't be any simpler than this. So see, here you have positive proof that yeah, they're scholars, and yes, they should be respected, and yes, we need them, and yes, pray for them. And yes, they have bad hair days. And in this case, in Hebrews 11:1, they've had a bad hair day for 500 years. So guess who's been covering it up? No human lives 500 years. So who's been real active to hide the meaning of this verse from us? Satan and company. They live over 500 years, and they're real consistent. No human is this consistent. So the consistent screw up on this verse tells you how important it is. So you see, God's turning lemons into lemonade. We've screwed up on this verse for 500 years. That's okay. Let's just admit it and move on and recognize the importance of the fact that we haven't understood it for 500 years. Being high, it's about the trial. And the devil and his angels don't want us to know about this trial. So they've covered it up for 500 years. But guess what? They can't do that anymore. Bye.